Welcome, Taurus and Taurus cross-watchers, to your February 2023 singles and new love reading. So we're going to do where you are, where you're headed, and what's hidden or what you need to know out of this deck. And then from this deck, we're going to pull a card for the next love interest for Taurus Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs, and that will be time-stamped in the description box below. So I hope you guys have had a great week. Whoop. Taurus, I actually feel like you may have, it feels like there's some people that have recently exited your life, and it feels like, I almost want to say that I'm seeing you looking at the situation feeling like you should feel sadder than you are, but I feel like to a certain extent it's like you knew that these people kind of needed to exit. And I almost want to say that it's like, it's not quite a good riddance sort of energy, but I feel like you seem to be really satisfied or content. Not that you're, skipping down the street, that you've had to turn away from some people. But I do feel here that you have, it's like you may have known for some time that this connection or these connections with these people weren't working. I feel like you see them as, it's almost like their view of things, their view of the world seems to be very skewed in comparison to yours. And now that's not to say that, I'm not feeling that, you think you're better than anybody. It actually feels more that this is the kind of energetics of it, so it may not be the actual situation, but I feel like you're looking at it like you're grateful for the time that you spent with these people, this person, but I feel like you know that you're kind of on a different path now, and there's something about their mindset that maybe it's limiting them. Maybe you see it as, hold on for a second. It's almost like you seem to be on your way to be doing for yourself bigger and better things. And I feel like while you knew these people may have had your best interests at heart, maybe they, weren't out to get you or anything. I, certainly hope they weren't. But regardless of that, I feel like that it's a, I don't really want to say this because I don't want to say this about a human or humans, but it's almost like it was a necessary sacrifice. That it's like you seem to know that being around these people, it's almost like it was putting a damper or kind of dampening your, it almost feels like it was kind of putting a damper on either what you felt you could achieve or how creatively you were able to think about how to kind of grow your career or grow this or grow that. It just feels like, and that's not to say, anything negative about these people. I'm not really seeing that the tarot's trying to knock them. I feel like you just don't see them the same way anymore. I feel like it doesn't hurt as much as maybe you thought it would, or you feel that it should to some extent, because actually I feel like you don't really want to be around these people anymore. There seems to be enough of a distance between the two of you that it's not a, clear and present, danger or threat or anything. Hold on for a second. It does feel like, I feel like you may see these people as duplicitous, in that it's like of course they want you to do well, but I feel like when you start to do better than them, or when they see you kind of doing things that I almost want to say they wish they could do, but they don't see themselves as being able to do those anymore, it's like they seem to appeal to your better nature. It's almost like they try to drag you back into it through, using an emotional connection. They seem to want, it's almost like they may have wanted to drag you back into something through some sort of emotional tie. And I feel like the last time that they did it, you saw what they were doing. It's almost like they were happy when you were taken away from what you needed to do, because it's like the world as they saw it was still the same, you know? It's like you'd put them first. So I'm almost seeing like maybe they asked you to go and like help them fix something or something like that at their house. I'm hearing for some of you it's like maybe their toilet wasn't flushing or something. But anyway, that's obviously going to be really specific. Anyway, I feel like you went over to help this person, and it's like there's something almost like the joke or jestery about the way that they smiled when either like you got stressed out or something. It's like they seemed to like to know that they still had some almost like ownership or control. So I apologize if me saying, that there isn't anything wrong with the connection between the two of you, because clearly this person, it feels like it's someone like they're friends with you to the point that works for them. And it's like when a connection wants to expand beyond how they see the world and what they want for themselves and what they want for other people, it's like as soon as people try to get out of the pigeonhole that these people put them in, it's like they'll do what they can, but in a almost like a, it's like that the vibe is off, but the things that they're asking and the things that they're doing could easily be interpreted as, just kind of like an innocent sort of something or another. But I feel like you know that the vibe is off, and the fact that they let you walk away, it's like that seems to be confirmation to you that it wasn't really working. And it's almost like they seem to know that to a certain extent, excuse me, and this may not resonate for everybody, I actually feel that they're not overly surprised that you walked away. And it's like, that's why when you walked, they were like, okay, that sounds about right. I feel like for them, it's almost like it speaks to your character that you stuck with them for as long as you did. Where's Taurus headed? The Lovers. It's kind of a loaded card with the Ten of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So just let me actually sit with this card for a second. So we all know the traditional meaning of the Lovers card. And if you don't know, it's like the soulmate sort of energy. I'm actually feeling here, Taurus, that you may have a bit of healing in the 5D with these people that you've had to kind of cut off or cut out of your life. It feels like there's some sort of like energetic exchange where it's almost like that may be where you're able to express yourself more clearly. And it's almost like you seem to be able to, there's something in your head that you're having a hard time expressing. And I actually feel this may not resonate for everybody, but I feel like the reason you're having a hard time expressing it isn't because you don't know what it is and you don't know how to put a name to it. It's more because it's like it's something that you kind of wish wasn't true. For some of you, it could be that you don't want to admit like how deeply you loved these people and how much they hurt you. That may not resonate for everybody. I do feel to a certain extent that you may feel like that you should be stronger, that you should be this, that you shouldn't have let them get to you, that you should let it go. And of course that's, part and parcel of being in relationships with other people. And that's not just romantic, it's just any relationship with another human, right? I do feel that you seem to be honoring the truth of how you feel about the situation. And I do feel that in the 3D at least, it doesn't really feel like it's something that you'll be expressing, at least to these people. And I feel like that actually may feel like you're carrying around a lot of sadness. And it's almost the energy of, you know what, I'm going to ask you a question instead of telling you something. Is this now a situation, or as you're moving into it, you know, if this is your process, do you maybe need to have a good cry to let it go, to mourn the loss of it? And maybe you don't, maybe that's not your process. But it does feel like when you're ready, there seems to be a cathartic experience that allows you to release this, but it does feel like you will be on your own, like you'll be alone when you do it. And that's not to say, you know, you'll be single, you'll be this, you'll be that. It's just you seem to have to, and I'm sorry to say this, you seem to have to experience that by yourself. Okay. So that's, yeah. All right. We're gonna come back to that if we need to. What's hidden? 10 of Cups at the bottom of the deck again. We have the Ace and 2 of Pentacles. So you may be having this kind of like internal, I don't know how else to say it, like almost like a situation here. But I feel like that's kind of almost like an underlying internal experience right now. I feel like what's going on in the outer world, it's almost like something's being prepared for you here. I almost want to say that it's like people see that you're, oh, it's going to make me cry. Sorry. I feel like either people see, or, you know, the 5D spirit, God, whatever you see as your higher power, it's almost like an entity, we'll say, sees what you're going through, and it's almost like it may feel like things have stalled. I'm gonna cry. You must be really going through it, man. If it feels like life has stalled, it actually feels like you're kind of being given an opportunity, or at least you have an opportunity to process some stuff that's going on. I feel like to a certain extent, it's like this new beginning that's almost kind of being prepared for you in the meantime, so that you kind of, so that you kind of have something to turn around to when this is all over. I feel like it is being blocked from your view to a certain extent. It's almost like you wouldn't okay. I feel like if this opportunity was in your face right now and available to you right now, you would be focused on building that opportunity. And I feel like you wouldn't experience it as fully as you will have the opportunity to do, because you're healing from whatever this is. It feels like it's the last, I want to say the last rejection. It does feel like it was a rejection to some extent. It's like it's the last time that something is going to hurt you like this. And it's this real kind of like Empress, like, well, I'm just going to choose myself. And it's not a like, I'm choosing myself, F you and F everybody and da-da-da. No, it's more like it's almost like even if you were to express yourself to these people from the, you know, the 4 Wands and the Lovers here, I feel like you wouldn't be doing it expecting anything of them or needing anything from them. It's like it would just be about the experience that you had. So it's like it wouldn't matter what their reaction is. It wouldn't matter if it's good. It wouldn't matter if it's supportive. It wouldn't matter if they're being crappy about it. because it's not about your connection with them. It's about you. So I think we're going to pull some clarifiers. Actually, I think we'll get the other deck. What's this Ace of Pentacles here for Taurus? Just going to make sure there's no cards that came out. Okay. So we have the Nine of Pentacles with the Queen of Cups. Hold on for a second here. So there's a couple of messages that are coming in. I feel number one, whatever this kind of gift is, it's like it might even be hidden from other people right now. I almost want to say that it's like, may not be the actual situation, okay? But to kind of describe the energy, it's almost like maybe you and some other people work at a store. I'm hearing like a craft store, like White Rose or Craft Tree or something like that. And there's a promotion that will be available soon, right? But it's like nobody really knows about the promotion. And I feel like there's somebody here that it's almost like you may feel like everyone would pick this person, that of course they would be the one to have whatever abundance it is, but I feel like you seem to be actually first up on the list, if that makes sense. It's like this person isn't even after you. It's like they're the third or fourth, because I feel like it's almost like there's something about the way that they do things that it's too, I almost want to say like emotionally based. So it's like, for example, if somebody got on their nerves one day, it's like they would give that person the same crappy assignment for like a week, right? So it's like they use whatever power they're given to dole out punishments for perceived slights, whereas that's not what you're about. Regardless of what's happening with you, you handle your business, you don't dump your stuff on other people. Excuse me. And you just seem to be somebody that is, you may be coming off as a little bit detached right now. Hold on for a second. And I feel like there may be people around you that see that notice that. It's like they might not be prying, but they definitely have noticed. And it's almost the energy of, let's say, for example, I'm not saying this is the situation or this is what's coming up. For example, maybe you were going through a divorce, or you were going through something or another, or, maybe somebody passed, God forbid. But whatever it was, you continued to conduct yourself in that kind of high value Emperor, Empress energy. And you may have gotten a little bit quiet, you may have withdrawn a little bit, but you didn't come in and take it out on everybody else. You didn't come in and dump your stuff on people and expect other people to fix you. You turned into yourself. And not, it's like you turned inward when things started to kind of unravel. And I feel like there's a big reward kind of coming your way, but it doesn't feel like it's just going to drop into your lap sort of thing. It feels like it's going to be almost like a steady progression of things just working out really well for you. And I feel like you may not even notice it at first, number one, because it's like there's smaller things, and number two, because you're still hurting. And that's not a statement on you that you're ungrateful or you're this or you're that. It's just you're in a place of real hurt. Real hurt. And so, of course, when things happen that normally would be like, oh, that's really nice, I feel like you are, the hurt is heavy enough that those sorts of things may be something that you look back on and you're able to appreciate at that time. And Taurus, that's not to say that you are this or that kind of person. It's not to say that you're anything but someone that's going through something really tough. So, I think we will pull a card for this Lovers. What's going on? Does Taurus need to know? Okay. So we have the Page of Swords at the bottom of the deck. I feel like there seems to be somebody that is here that wants to make amends, that's genuinely sorry. And I feel like there's this other person that it's almost, I want to say that this, I just realized how long that makes my finger look. Sorry. Sorry. So I feel like there's somebody here that genuinely wants to make amends with you, that doesn't want it to be like this. I feel like whatever happened, they seem to want to fix it. And it's like there's somebody in their life that, it's like whatever they did to you, this person wants to keep doing. They don't really have any intention of changing. They don't have any intention of getting better. It's like they're not really, I feel, okay, and it's not to knock this person or anything, but they actually seem to feel that there isn't anything terribly wrong with what they did. You know what I mean? So it's like there's one person here that that knows what they did and doesn't want to, you know, for lack of a better phrase, it's like they don't want to do you like that. But there's somebody here that they seem to feel that it's like they kind of have to isolate this person here that wants to make things right. It's almost like they feel that they have to kind of keep this person all to themselves. It's almost the energy of like maybe someone here feels like so we're gonna just so I can kind of describe it a little easier, we're gonna do person A, which is the person that kind of wants to heal things, and person B, which is the person that's, you know, doesn't really see anything wrong with what they're doing. So I feel like person B may be isolating person A because they feel like person A is too good for them. So it's like they're trying to create this, it's almost like they're trying to, you know, build a moat around person A so that people can't get close enough to them. And I feel like they do seem to have a very, almost like a selfish attitude. It's like they feel, to a certain extent, it's like they feel like their existence means nothing without this person. You know what I mean? So it's like they feel, on the one hand, that this one that wants to make amends with you, it's like that's kind of like seems to, almost want to say like legitimize them somehow. Make them feel like they're not completely sucked into something, but it's like in doing that, I feel like they've put this person up on a pedestal, and I do feel like that seems to be causing this person A to have a little bit of, it's like they struggle to have clarity with their own actions because they've been put up on a pedestal. So it's like this person may sometimes not understand or realize the impact of their actions. You know what I mean? That seems to be why they feel they can heal this with you, because it's like you might want to make peace with somebody here, but I don't see you wanting to invite these people back into your life. I feel like they hurt you too deeply. And I do want to be really clear, that's not the tarot saying that that's a decision that needs to be made. It's really more, that's what I'm picking up from you. So we are going to get into the next love interest. I do want to say, okay, just because it's the next love interest, it doesn't mean it's going to be somebody that you want or that you end up dating. It's just the next person that is interested in doing that or doing so with you. So we have oh dear, look at this. Okay, so we have the Knight of Pentacles here with the Four of Wands and, well, you can't see that very well, sorry, with the Four of Wands and the Devil at the bottom of the deck. So Taurus, I actually feel like this is somebody that, it's a strange energy because it's almost like they're trying to leave a treasure trail They seem to be hoping that somebody from their past is going to kind of catch up with them. I want to say it's like they're leaving these Easter eggs behind, strangely enough. Um, and I feel, Taurus, that it's almost, it feels a little bit like, I'm not trying to assign this attribute to anybody because I'm nobody to judge. It does feel like one person here, it's almost like they seem to have a real insecurity when it comes to getting people to stay with them. And I feel like they may at times kind of act like you're around them for money, or maybe they do that to the people around them. But it's like whenever they kind of get their feelings hurt, I feel like their immediate, defense mechanism to that is, well, of course this person did that because they're only here for the money. You know what I mean? It's the energy of somebody that uses money to get people and then complains that people only want them for their money. And I feel like on a some level they actually know that that's what they're doing. I feel like they're, hold on for a second. Either there is someone in the 5D kind of following this person around, very downtrodden, or this person may have, like, it could be an elderly parent that they're taking care of. It could be a child or someone with, an impairment of some sort that, for whatever reason, it's like they want to break away from this person, but they don't really see themselves as being able to. It's like they feel like they need this person to kind of lead them, not realizing that it's like the reason that they're carrying a lot of, the reason they feel so sad all the time is because they actually seem to be following somebody that, I feel like they don't agree with a lot of this person's, like, tactics or, hold on for a second. It's almost like this one here, this elderly parent or whoever this person is taking care of, they have a really good heart. And they're, again, this may be just the energetics of it, right? But it's like they have a really good heart and they're in a position in their life where they feel they have to follow somebody that doesn't. That's very surface level, that uses people. And I feel like this really soft, good-hearted person seems to be tied to this other person. It's almost like they don't see a way out of that connection. It's like they've kind of resigned themselves to just kind of falling in line with what this person wants. And I feel like when this other person that doesn't really have a good heart, or doesn't necessarily, erase that sentence, that this person that is kind of using people, just because I haven't felt into what their heart is at this time, right? So it's like I don't want to say that somebody has a bad heart, right? Because I just don't want to say that. Anyway, I'm rambling. This person has kind of resigned themselves to just having to follow this one as they do whatever they're doing when they use people. And I feel like the one with the good heart, it's like they just try to block out when this other one is leaving this wake of hurt people in their path, and this one's following behind them. It's like they just try to keep their head down and not pay attention to it. I feel like there's times where they can't ignore what this one has done to other people. It's like it's held right up in their face. But I do, to this person's credit, I am kind of seeing that whether the opportunities were there or not, they haven't seen any opportunity to get out of the situation. I feel like when they see those really hurt people, it's almost like their narrative is, well, this one that's kind of the user of people, when the user of people hurts people and then those hurt people are seen by this person with the good heart, I feel like it's almost like that confirms what this negative person has been saying about the world. And it's almost like they may have told this other person for a long time that that this good-hearted person needed this other one's protection. And so it's like, because this person takes people down the way that they do, and then this one sees it, it's like this one's like, well, you know what? This user is, they're right about the world. I do need protection. I do need this. It's almost like they have put them into a place, I want to say learned helplessness, but it actually feels like it's been taught. So that's the next person that's interested in you. I'm sure that isn't really what you wanted to hear. I think we're just going to pull up. You know who I think is interested in you in this pair? I feel like they, for some reason, I actually feel like it's this good-hearted person. And obviously if that's a child or an elderly parent, right, that's not going to make a whole lot of sense. So let me put it to you this way. I'm sorry to say this, but this nightmare of a person over here is interested in you, and I feel like this other one that has to follow them, it's like they do want you in their life, but if that means that this person would have access to you, it's like they're hoping against, like, crossing their fingers and their toes that actually this person will never get a chance to get near you. It's that kind of an energy. It's like they know what this person does to people. And as much as they feel that like you would actually be really good for them because of who you are, they're kind of hoping that you don't get involved in this because they know this person's MO. So, for those of you with your moon in Taurus, moon in Taurus, oh yay! So we have the Six of Cups reversed with the, look at this, Ace of Pentacles and the King of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So Taurus Moon, I actually feel like this is somebody, it feels really out of the blue. It feels really exciting. It's almost like you'll see somebody and they'll be like, oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. It's, you know what I mean? It's almost like it's been so long that it takes the two of you a second to even recognize each other. You know what I mean? It's almost like, for example, maybe the two of you lived across the street from each other for years, or you went to elementary, maybe even high school. And it's like, because you have grown up since then, and maybe you look a little bit different, as you get older, sometimes your features change a bit, especially from, elementary. And I feel like this person, I feel like they recognize you before you recognize them. And I feel like they might talk to you for a second before you realize who it is. You know what I mean? It's like they seem to have this real recognition of you, and you're looking at them like, okay, I better remember who this is because they clearly know. It's like you're trying to run through the list, like, where did I meet this person? And I feel like then they seem to say something that you're like, oh, that's who it was. And it does feel like this is, you may not want to hear this. You may already see it in their eyes. I do feel that this person has a romantic intention towards you. I don't feel that they have, been stalking you online and they sought you out. It does feel like they were led intuitively to be where you are at the same time. You know what I mean? It's like they were kind of being drawn towards you. And it does feel like they seem to get some sort of weird um, vibe. It's almost like they may have expected you, may not be the actual situation, but it's like they expected you to be as excited to see them as they were to see you. And when you're not, it almost makes them feel like a little embarrassed, a little ashamed for having been that excited. And I feel like they may, that make, that may make this person make kind of a speedy exit. And there is a message here that, um, depending on what you want, right? Because at the end of the day, these are your choices. It does feel like you can put on some of that Taurus charm. And not that you're charming somebody in like a smarmy way, but some of that charisma, some of that really openness that that you guys have. I mean, it's anecdotal, right? It's been in my experience with Taurus, but it's that energy of being able to make people feel really comfortable. And it's like an easy flowing conversation. And I feel like you might see that this person, excuse me, it's almost like they're talking a little bit too fast. They seem to be really nervous. It's like they're as surprised to see you as you are to see them. But because they're more excited, because they're like, oh my gosh, it's almost like, I can't believe I ran into Taurus. What a crazy day. I feel like it's almost like the energy of somebody that's like they get a little bit giddy after the interaction. They seem to, I feel to a certain extent, they don't want to assign a certain connection that they're looking for, right? It's like they seem to be kind of dancing around like whether or not they want a friendship or a romantic relationship. I feel like they know that they want a romantic relationship, but they kind of don't want to get their hopes up. It's almost this energy of like they kind of don't know where you're at right now, if you're with somebody or if you're not, or if you're this or that. So I feel like they get so excited to see you and then they pull back. And it's almost like this person may have felt that you were too good for them in the past. And it's like they forget about that at the beginning of the conversation. And then as the two of you go through the conversation, it's like they remember why they felt that way in the first place. I do feel like they don't let that hold them back. It does feel, though, that if for whatever reason, right, because you're living your own life, you're not in a headspace where you're able to kind of, I want to say like turn on that Taurus charm, but again, not the smarmy charm, right? So if you're not able to do that, I feel like this person, I feel like however they know you well enough that when you act that way, it's because something's wrong. Right? It's like if you're acting reserved or really quiet or this or that, it's because you're hurting. And I feel like that may make them kind of pump the brakes on pursuing a romantic connection with you. It's like they do seem to still want to. It's the Six of Cups. I love it when the tarot does this. Yeah. But it's upright. So I feel like in the same way that they remember why they felt a little insecure and kind of not good enough for you in the past, I actually feel that they seem to feel like they have really leveled up. And I almost wanted to say like a glow up, but it's not just a physical glow up, right? It's like a full on, full body, mind, soul sort of healing that this person has had. And I feel like they see you as somebody that it's like sometimes, all you show people is kind of like a regular tree, but it's like they know that you have this gorgeous, colorful, almost like this really I want to say like magical and mysterious world that's just underneath the surface. And I do feel like this person is going to give it a try to, you know, kind of see if they can get their foot in the door. Not in a like bad or creepy way, but it's like they're just going to try to feel out if you're even interested in that sort of thing. And I don't know why this is what's coming through, but I want to say like this person isn't going anywhere for a while or the time being. It just feels like when this person sees you, they seem to want to, hold on for a second. It's almost like they want to be a permanent fixture. I feel like you're kind of somebody that this person, let me rephrase that. Let's say, for example, this person has had, you know, their world crumble around them and they've had to rebuild it and they've had to cut people out and that sort of thing, just like you have. It's like them meeting you. They seem to see it as another opportunity to level up because, you know how when they say like if you're around people that don't challenge you, like, or if you hang, what is that saying? You are who you associate with. So it's almost like this person is seeing it as an opportunity for them to kind of expand their circle into the kind of people that they want to be around rather than the people that they have been around. So for those of you with a Taurus rising, whoa, we have the Ten of Swords here with the Seven of Swords and the Two of Cups at the bottom of the deck. Ooh. Taurus, I feel like this is somebody that may be in a really similar energy to you here with this, you know, you having to walk away from people. I feel like they may feel a little more, it's either they feel more kind of destitute than you do, not in a desperate way, okay, but it's like they may feel more abandoned, but I feel for most of you, it's actually like, whereas you may want to kind of clear the air and have some forgiveness and some healing, that doesn't mean you want people back in your life, but it's like you don't want to walk around with, you know, that kind of feeling in your heart. I feel like this person, they seem to be able to have a cleaner, like for example, when they cut somebody off, it's like it's a cleaner cut. Either that or they've had a very different experience. Still something where they had to cut people off. But I feel like it may have been, it feels like to a certain extent you were still able to see the good in these people over here, but obviously they were no longer good for you, right? I feel like this person got like screwed over. And if I could put emphasis on that, I would. I don't know how without kind of getting obnoxiously loud. I feel like this next love interest here was really given the runaround. I feel like people talked about them behind their back. I feel like it's almost the energy of everybody knew what was happening to this person but this person. You know what I mean? So for example, if their person was, you know, stepping outside the relationship, it's like everybody knew. And I feel like this person feels like the people around them actually covered for the person that was screwing them over. And I feel like they may feel like they are wiping the slate clean and they're starting from scratch. And it's like they may be taking the lessons with a little bit of sorrow still in them. But I feel like this person it's like you may actually be either impressed or kind of a little bit shocked at how ruthless this person is about not letting people get in their way. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's necessarily the energy of somebody that is, you know, just cutting people out all willy-nilly. But it does feel like the kind of person that it's like they've learned that if somebody has sabotaged them once, if somebody has put their success at risk, it's like it's an immediate deal breaker. And I feel like this person loves themselves to like so much, and not in a like, oh, they're all, full of themselves, but they love themselves so much that they will never put anybody else's nonsense above their success, above their happiness, right? And that's not to say that they can't put other people first. I feel like this is the kind of person that if you treat them well, it's, I feel in the past, if you treated them well, they'd treat you 10 times better. And I feel like now they kind of match that effort, but it's like this is kind of almost like a dying breed of person, right? It's like this person functions on loyalty, honesty, all of those attributes, and it seems to be coupled with this. It's like their mind is razor sharp, and when they start to see, things kind of get a little messy, it's like this person just cuts the whole thing off. You know what I mean? It's like they're willing to be as ruthless as they have to with with any element in their life if that element starts to impede their forward movement. And I feel like they seem to be a really, like, I almost want to say dynamic individual. I do feel, I'm going to be honest, they obviously have been hurt in love, right? But I feel like they may not be, here's the rub, right? It's like maybe you're somebody that wants healing, but I actually feel like that's a sign that you haven't completely closed your heart to love, right? Because you're still able to live in that energy of love. I'm not so sure this person is there. I actually feel like they either have some resentment towards love itself, or it's like they're choosing to give up on it for some time. I say some time, but it's actually like you may find them to be really guarded. You may find this might sound strange, but it's almost like you may see that this person, it's like you may kind of feel some sort of connection with them, but they spend most of the time ignoring you because, dang it, I just dropped a whole bunch of cards. Sorry, because they, sorry, one second. That just kind of pulled me out of the, one second here. I feel like they want love, but it actually feels like right now it's almost like they seem to want to do more with themselves. It's like they want to see more. I feel like it's almost like part of them feels like they have to walk this next leg of their journey on their own. And I actually feel like, but part of them would actually really like to do that with you. And it feels like they kind of don't want to admit that to themselves. It's like maybe this is the kind of person that has sworn off love or kind of wants to, push it away. And I feel like they seem to see you as somebody that's been through similar experiences, but you have managed to keep your heart open. And it's like they're looking at it like, well, maybe I don't have to close off to love entirely, right? It's like maybe they don't have to turn away from that kind of happiness. We got one card for this Ten of Swords, please. For those with Taurus Rising. So we have the Hanged Man and the Six of Wands. I'm just going to make sure that's... But it's reversed. Yeah, this person is on a... It's almost like if people came up to them and told them how strong they are or how much they admire them, it's like this one would look them in the eye and just kind of keep walking. It's almost like it wouldn't even register as a compliment. It wouldn't register as anything other than, it's like, to this person, it's almost like it would be the equivalent of somebody saying to them, hey, can you throw, like they have a bagel or a bit of food. It's almost like a gross yogurt container with a spoon in it. And it would be like somebody handing it to this person and being like, hey, can you throw this out for me? When people say how strong they are, it feels really foreign to this person. I mean, maybe it's that they're not used to getting compliments, but feels like there's something bigger than that. It's like they actually seem to not want to connect with anybody. I do feel like they seem to be having this kind of like, it's almost like this moment where they feel like there's something they want to work towards here. I actually feel like they are on the fence. I feel like they want to work towards having an open heart the way that you do. But I also feel like there's another part of them that just kind of doesn't want anything to do with anybody and wants to go into the cave. So we're going to move on to those with a Venus in Taurus. Venus in Taurus. Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. We have the Nine of Wands. So the Nine of Wands is that's like the wounded warrior card, right? So I actually really love this person's energy because they seem to be quite an anomaly, right? It's like on the one hand, I feel like this person is very defensive, but not. You know what I mean? It's like they might, to somebody that isn't really paying attention, I feel like they do look really defensive. But I feel like to anybody that, it's like they seem to be really good at picking up on energy. I feel like this person is somebody that has been through some hard times. And I don't just mean emotionally. I mean, like, maybe there's somebody that has lived through being homeless, or has lived through, not lived through, but lived in poverty. And I feel like they seem to be, it's like one of those people, I don't know if you've ever been around somebody like this, but for example, let's say there's a group of friends getting together at somebody's house, and it's like this one is going to notice every cough, every clearing of the throat, every time somebody looks at somebody else across the circle of friends or whatever. It's like they see everything. And it almost feels like this person is kind of like half daring you, half warning you. I'm getting kind of like, you know how Morpheus gives Neo a chance? He's like, I'm going to get the colors of the pills wrong. I'm sorry. But he's like, you take the, let's say, I'm trying to remember. You take the blue pill, you wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. And I feel like that's kind of this person's vibe, right? They seem to be a very take it or leave it sort of energy, but it seems it's not an actually like resentful kind of vibe that's coming across. It really is honestly like people can take them or leave them, but you know what I mean? It's like people can apply to be in this person's life, right? It's like applications are being received right now. But people can't just stand in the doorway, right? It's like this person is going to protect themselves against anybody that's going to waste their freaking time. You know what I mean? So I feel like they actually are really quick. They seem to be really perceptive when it comes to energy. Excuse me. And I feel like this person, you might hear through the grapevine that they have actually rejected somebody that you always knew was a bad seed. You know what I mean? It's like maybe you couldn't put your finger on it. I feel like it's somebody that, like the one that this one has rejected, it's like they had, it's like that kind of just person. They have veiled insults to people. And I feel like there's times where it's like this person may have either gossiped or kicked somebody while they were down. And I feel like you're looking at them like it's just not even necessary for you to talk like that. For you to bring that into, like, it's just, you're looking at that person like there was no need for you to do that. There was no need for you to bring that in. You know, it's not that you don't know how to handle a situation if you need to, but you're not out to hurt anybody. You're not looking to bring up somebody's, you know, you're not going to sit around, I want to say like the kitchen table and gossip about people. And neither is this one. So it's like whoever they rejected, I feel like whoever it is, they didn't give them a second thought. It's like that someone kind of approached this person, and it's almost like just kind of going to the imagery in the card, I feel like somebody kind of approached this person, but because instead of looking this person in the eye, they were looking all behind them to see like, okay, well, what's in there? Like kind of a nosy, gossipy sort of energy. This person was like, no, get lost. I'm not even going to look at your application. And I feel like it's somebody that you either you know why that person is not the greatest person, or it's like it's just a vibe you've always had. You always kind of knew it. And I feel like this person kind of rejecting that other one seems to be, it almost kind of makes you feel like maybe they, I mean, obviously they think that, I'm trying to feel into it, but I'm obviously not pulling the words to put into a sentence. Sorry, Taurus. I feel like you seem to see it as like, oh, maybe this person sees it too. I mean, obviously, but it also feels like it's on a deeper level, right? It's like if nobody else was able to see that that person was a bad seed, but this person did, it almost feels like you might have somebody that you sees the world in the same way that you can talk to. And now that, let me be really clear, not that you're going to sit around and gossip about people with this person, but it's almost like it makes you, not that you immediately trust their judgment or their opinion, right? But it's almost like this person sees the reasons why because they're so perceptive, right? It's like they see the exact reason why they need to stay away from certain types of people. And I feel like you can feel it, but you may not be able to put your finger on it exactly. It's like you kind of know what it is. You know what what their vibe is, but you can't quite put together how you got to that conclusion, right? So it's like you're feeling it and they see it. And I feel like they're able to kind of put a name to like, oh, yes, that's exactly what it was, right? It's like you have this kind of like, oh, this kind of almost like gnarled feeling about something, and this person's able to be like, oh yeah, well that's because I saw them do this, and it's like, and they've done this type of thing with that information before, and you're like, oh my, yeah, that's, so I feel like, I mean, not every time, right, that they would be able to describe whatever it is that you are feeling. I feel sometimes they do seem to get a little, not uppity, but if they feel like you aren't not agreeing, if they feel like you are judging their judgment of other people, I feel like you're going to see this person clam up real quick. Real quick. It feels like it's a similar energy to this Taurus Rising that isn't really open to people. However, it actually feels like they're open to people, coming into their life, but they have a vetting process, and it's like at the slightest inclination that there's going to be some sort of discretion or problem with somebody, it's like they're going to, I just see them almost like if it was like herding cattle or sheep or something. It's like they've got this big wand here that they're just like, no, out you go. It's like they just kind of shoo them away. So I think I'll leave it there, Taurus. So of course, if this reading resonated, I hope that it was helpful. If you have made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I really love being able to do this channel, so thank you. Also, of course, private readings are available. If you'd like a private reading with me, my email's below in the description box. And I do have some, like, kind of a special Valentine's Day read coming out next week, so please keep an eye out for that. If you're new here, I post on Thursdays and Sundays, and I am done talking now. So I love you so much, Taurus, and we'll see you next time. Bye.